Okay, so let's dive into something we've probably all been through. Your car's check engine light comes on, it throws some weird, mysterious error code. What's the first thing you do? You grab your phone and search for a fix, right? But what happens when what you find isn't an answer, but the start of a whole different kind of mystery? That's what we're going to investigate today.
So let's say this is you. The check engine light is on, you plug in the scanner, and boom, Ford code P1556. You hit the search engines, and this is the title that pops up. I mean, it looks perfect, doesn't it? Super specific, sounds technical, it's promising to help you with the exact issue. You think, yes, I found it. But have you really?
So of course, you click the link, you're feeling pretty good about it. You land on a page that looks like it's totally dedicated to solving your problem. The layout's clean, seems well organized. You're already thinking about popping the hood and getting your hands dirty to fix this thing. And look, the promise here is super simple. We're on this page for one reason and one reason only, to figure out what this code means and how to fix it. The title made a promise, and now we're going to see if it actually delivers.
But hold on. Before we dive straight into the how-to, you know a good detective always looks around the scene first. So let's take a closer look at the web page itself. What kind of clues can we find that might tell us a little more about where this info is coming from?
All right, first thing that kind of jumps out is the menu. I mean, look at this. This site covers a huge range of car brands. We're talking everything from American trucks to Japanese sedans. That's an impressive amount of expertise. Almost suspiciously broad, you might say.
Okay, now check out the recent posts section. See a pattern starting to form here. It's Ford code blah blah blah, Dodge code something else. The titles are basically all the same, just with different codes swapped in. It feels less like someone carefully wrote each article and more like they're just coming off a conveyor belt, you know? And then there's this little detail, the post date. It says April 12th, 2025. Is that just a typo? Or are we getting our car advice from a time traveler? It's just another one of those little things that doesn't quite add up.
But hey, on the other hand, look at this. At first glance, this is awesome. A perfect 5 out of 5 rating. And not just from a few people, from over 200 votes. That's a pretty strong endorsement. I mean, with a score that high, the info has got to be legit, right?
But then you scroll down to the comments section and you find this. Absolutely nothing. It's empty. So wait a minute. Over 200 people supposedly loved this article enough to give it a perfect score, but not one of them had a question or a suggestion? Not even a, hey, thanks, this worked. That's weird.
Okay, let's just stop for a second and think about this. We've got 207 votes, a perfect score, and 0 comments. The math here just doesn't feel right. How can a web page be that popular, but also completely silent? What is actually going on?
All right, so we've collected a few strange clues about the page itself, but let's get back to the main event, the reason we're even here. It's time to find that step-by-step guide and figure out how to fix our car. So this is it, the big question. The title promised a diagnosis, it promised a fix for Ford code P1556. So where is it? Where are the instructions? And here's the big reveal, the twist in our little mystery. There is no explanation, nothing. The entire article, the whole reason the page is supposed to exist, it's just not there. Everything we've already looked at, that is the entire web page.
So, wow, we didn't just strike out on finding an answer. We've actually stumbled onto a totally different mystery. The real puzzle here isn't about fixing a Ford. The puzzle is this web page.
So let's switch gears. We're not trying to be car mechanics anymore. Now, we're digital detectives. Our new mission is to figure out what this bizarre, empty shell of a website is even for.
Okay, let's lay out all the evidence we've gathered. We've got dozens of posts that all follow the same formula. That's content made for search engines, not for human beings. We have that super high rating but 0 comments, which screams fake engagement. And of course, the fact that there's no actual explanation, that pretty much confirms this is just some kind of auto-generated placeholder. All the clues are pointing in the exact same direction.
And this whole thing actually has a name. It's called a content farm. Basically, these are websites that are built for one reason, not to help you, but to trick search engines. They churn out massive amounts of super low-quality content so they can rank for thousands of different search terms. The whole goal is just to get you to click on the page so they can make a tiny bit of money from ads, even if the page itself is totally, completely useless. So what's the big takeaway from all this? Well, we started out looking for a simple car repair guide, but what we ended up finding was a digital illusion, a web page built by a machine for a machine that was just pretending to be helpful. And that right there is a pretty important lesson for anyone trying to find real information online these days.
And that brings us to a much bigger, kind of spooky question. If a really specific search like this can lead us to a web page that's completely fake, how much of the internet that we use every single day is also just an illusion? It's definitely something to think about the next time you go searching for answers online.